Yeah. Okay. So this mic's gonna pick up that, and you gotta wear these. Uh-huh. We're fixing to go live. Are you ready?
Or we're one side.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. Can you hear?
Oh yeah.
All right. Whoop. Give us 1 minute.
There we go.
It's actually working. So surprised. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Kingdom Lum, small town underground. We're streaming live on YouTube as well as on Facebook, Kingdom Lum Small Town. And I got a real special guest today. I'm really excited. Mack McGregor is back with us, and we really appreciate him. He's being real flexible and was able to come in this evening to do it. So we're going to do kind of a free-for-all this evening and talk about a lot of different things. And I want to pick Mack's brain about where we stand in the future of Georgia. And I also want to send a shout out to all the people that are still actively engaged in all of this. The people like Tyler Martin with Not Your Average Citizen. You know, we got Mack, who's constantly was on social media with like Lucretia Hughes and everything that they're doing. Fallback Productions. Yeah. We thank all of the patriots that have taken that stand in the GOPs and are trying to work, tirelessly to, make sure that our Constitution is protected. Everybody is kind of at a lull point right now. We're all just, everybody's tired, but people like I went to the Chattooga GOP last night to support them and the Georgia Republican Assembly there, and it just gave me that little extra fuel that I needed to just keep going. Every time I get down low, talk to somebody or somebody sends me something, and it just makes me want to it just puts more fuel in the tank, and I appreciate all the people that have been sending me messages and like videos and things. Don't think I forgot about you. I'm doing things one at a time, and we'll just keep this ball rolling as long as we can. So we're here, and if you can believe it, everything is actually working. So I'm very surprised. I even come down here this morning and put all this together, and then had a crash right before we went on. So that's why we're just a little bit late. But if you can, just let me know that the sound is going through good, because I really apologize for the last podcast, but there was something that wasn't turned on and I couldn't see it until after it was over. So I'm just an amateur. So anyway, welcome, Mack McGregor.
Hey, glad to be here.
It's glad to have you, man. So tell us how things are going with you. You doing okay?
Yeah, not doing too bad. Actually been running around the state of Georgia doing a few speaking events here and there. People are starting to realize that the stuff that I was talking about on the campaign trail are starting to happen now. And they figured out that the part of me was actually looking into the future of the state of Georgia. And they, some people go, well, that's conspiracy theory kind of crap, But you know how it goes with conspiracy, just wait 6 months and it happened.
Right.
Other than that, just working hard, taking time with the family right now, trying to chill back just a little bit from off the campaign trail.
All right.
But we are putting events together.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, we got one going on in Loganville on February the 18th. Starts at
Okay.
11 o'clock. The information's out there if you look for it.
Okay.
Um,
It's a what's it
Unite
called?
Rally.
Unite rally. Okay.
So we're talking about people from all walk of life. We don't care about your political views. We don't care about your religious views. We don't care about whatever view you got. We need to put our petty differences to the side. You need to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that the establishment is after you. They're out to not only harm you and your family and the future of the state of Georgia, but the U.S. They're out to hurt you or kill you, one or the other.
Right.
And it's time to take back our state and take back the United States.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is what this unity rally is all about. It's coming together, connections, unify, and then we're probably going to, I've actually been talking to a few people, and I think we're going to go like on a state tour kind of thing. So it's just not going to be just Loganville. We're talking about it.
Right.
So look forward to that as well.
Yeah.
We got great speakers. We got you speaking.
Yeah, I'm planning on speaking.
You know, we got Jennifer Tadeau. She confirmed the other day. We got Ray Blankenship. We got Lucretia Hughes, of course, and then we got Melissa from out of Tennessee. We got Randall Grassenbeck from out of Kentucky coming in.
Right.
We've also got an upcoming country star singer. She's geek as well, but she's going to sing as well. And we got 3 or 4 other artists on top of that as well. So it's a big deal. It's turning out to be a big thing.
Right.
Because I think people are finally realizing that we have to unite. We have to put the petty differences aside.
Right.
Because if we don't, we're going to get destroyed. So this is what this is about.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. In fact, it's funny because we only got to speak a couple of minutes before coming in tonight. But I had this same conversation last night with other people in the movement about how things need to be more about uniting and community based, because so many people get turned off by if you do like a Second Amendment or some kind of politics thing, and it really just needs to be more about like the fellowship, just getting people together and uniting people under one cause, you know. So I think this is a great thing, and we're also are going to post up more about this event, so that hopefully we can drum up more support from people, because that's really what it's all about, as a day of fellowship with like-minded people, so that we can continue to make connections with each other and just strengthen the base of our ideals, you know.
Right.
So I appreciate you inviting me, and like I said, I was planning on going either way, and so I'm going to get up there and run my mouth for a minute and just keep going, because I get so many people that ask me like do I have a motive, you know, like what are you gaining from all this? And I'm like, well, I'm not gaining anything. And you know, and I get to ask the question a lot, are you going to go into politics? I'm like, no, I don't want to go into politics. I don't want to do anything. I'm just a concerned citizen who is trying to share information and really like focus on the truth of the situation. That's it. And there's more people out there doing that. And I think it's a natural inherency.
Yeah.
When we look at somebody doing something and we're like, what do they got up their sleeve?
Right.
I don't have anything up my sleeve. I mean, I can barely keep this thing running. So, you know, I'm just having fun.
And the point is that, you know, if you get out there and you speak, you might reach that one person that showed up saying, well, let me see what this is about.
Right.
And if you reach that one person, well, you know how it goes. You reach one, then you might as well have reached 20, because you know that one person will go tell 20.
Sure.
And then them 20 are going to go tell 40. See, we keep telling people, you know, that are running for office, if you can reach that one person, your base will grow.
Right.
Well, now we're trying to start and light a fire here in the state of Georgia about unity. Now you're going to have your clashes, you know, you're going to have your trolls, you know, you're going to have, look past that.
Right.
All right. Because that's not what this unity rally is about.
Right.
I have blocked more people because they want to go and laugh at it, or they say, well, I'm not going to be there because of this certain person. We don't care.
Right.
Okay. Don't troll us and talk crap.
Oh yeah.
Just don't show up.
Yeah. Very true. You know, we joke about this a lot, but we all got started around the same time in the
Mhm.
Second Amendment communities, and start pulling all this stuff together, and getting our proclamations and
Yeah.
our all of our through our stuff through the commissioner. And you go through and you meet so many people in different areas that are doing things, but like at the end of the day, it's the same people that were there from the beginning,
Mhm.
if you're that lucky, you know.
Yeah.
So a lot of people want to criticize, and I have people around me that criticize me all the time, and I have family and other friends, but like, we're doing something, we're being
Mhm.
active, you
Yeah.
know. And I'm like, I'm not out here getting drunk on a Saturday night, you know,
Right.
chasing, you know.
Right.
I'm out here talking about what's going on, and exactly what you said about saving our country, but more importantly, understanding that everything that happens outside of our community is headed for our community. Right?
Exactly.
And we have a really golden opportunity to stand in front of it and get ahead of it, right?
Yes. Yes.
Before it invades us.
Yes.
The man Nathaniel Darnell was talking last night about, he grew up in Cobb County, and he just shared the story about how, you know, in the late 80s, I think early 90s or so, Cobb County was just a very staunch conservative area.
Mhm.
And then the state came in for the Brave Stadium, and they spent, like, they subsidized $400 million worth of money to put the stadium here. And with that came apartment complexes,
Yes.
and just huge subsidized living areas. And then
Mhm.
he said, who do you think moved into those places? It was Democrats. And
Yeah.
so now it's completely Democrat. So
Yeah.
it's not that it's a war between Republicans and Democrats, which we'll get to, but you know, it's about communities that want to live in, like, the ways of God, the
Right.
Christian
Exactly.
values, the people that want to be left alone and be conservative and raise their families, all of these things that we're being fought against from the deep state,
Right.
right? And Democrats don't share that view, you
Right.
know? So I mean, now is the time that so you can criticize Mac or myself or anybody you want to.
Yeah, and it's
but-
not going to phase us none. I'm
No.
going to tell you right now. That's like trying to shoot Superman with bullets. They're going to bounce off. We're not going to
There you
deal with
go.
it. We'll smile and, you know, like Lucretia says, dust your feet off and
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah,
We're just not going to deal with it.
Mhm.
Now you were talking about us versus them.
Mhm.
Ladies and gentlemen, you really need to pay attention. And I keep telling it, and everybody laughs at this, but you do understand, once this gets in your brain, you'll understand that you're legally paying the government to kill you. Do you?
Right.
I mean, once you get that conception in your head and you understand that they're legally killing you, then you'll do something about it.
Brought this point up last night, and you'd probably agree with this, but we live in one of the most conservative regions
Oh
in
yeah.
America. You know, we're up here, and even me growing up, because I grew up as fairly liberal. You know, we moved here from Chicago. My dad was, of course, from the South, but growing up, you know, playing in bands, just being part of the freak culture, which I still love. You know, I love my people and the people we played punk rock bands and did all these things with. You know. But like growing up, you know, we never had these entitlement issues. Like, I didn't walk into a store and think that you should respect me for,
Yeah.
you know, having on
Yeah.
a leather jacket or something, you
Yeah.
know, and that whole paradigm has changed. But my point is we live in this conservative area where it's a good place to raise a family. It's a good place to stay out of all of the negative and the evil things in the world. And I think what it does is it makes people complacent. It puts people in a situation where they're like, well, I live up here, and Mac is going to do this. I don't need to get involved, you know, or, well, it's not happening
Right.
down my street. It's not happening in my subdivision, you know, so I'm okay. I'm up here.
Right.
And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Even COVID, even in this region, we weren't nearly affected by COVID.
No.
In the ways that we were seeing that were horrible on the news.
Well,
you know?
luckily, I could say thank you to our county commissioners and
Sure.
you know, and our mayor and stuff like that, because literally what happened is when that COVID came in and it can't shut down the state. Luckily, the 14th district pretty much said, no, we're not. Look, we'll do our thing. And that's what you need to understand, is that the local area don't have to listen to the state.
Right.
The state don't have to listen to the federal. it begins at your local level.
Sure. Even the police, you saw all those videos and news reports about the cops arresting people for not wearing.
Mhm.
None of that was going on up here.
No.
We live in this sort of this echo chamber glass house place where we're always vicariously looking
Mhm.
at all these problems. They're not happening here.
Right.
And so people are complacent. They don't feel like they need to do anything. And my question is, when are you going to feel like you're threatened? When it's at your front door?
Well,
When
let's
these
take
things are
okay.
coming?
So let's take Candace Taylor and Marjorie Taylor Greene. How many times did they get swatted?
Oh Lord.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you look at them and go, well, they got swatted because I mean they're famous people. No, what you need to understand is that anybody can get swatted.
Absolutely.
So the thing is this, ladies and gentlemen, you really need to start fortifying. Everybody keeps talking about building a wall. Well, you need to build a wall, figurative,
Right.
in your local area. Okay,
Yeah.
so you start by taking over your school boards, you start taking over your mayors that don't want to do the right thing, your county commissioner spots. I mean, I've been to many county, commissioner meetings,
Mhm.
and I watched Whitfield get tore up from the floor up.
Yeah.
Okay, so but at the same time, he does do a little something every now and then that's correct. We're not going to agree on everything.
Right.
But you have to hold these people accountable. You have to let them know that's not how it's going to go.
Right.
So you got to push back on them. So you need to start taking over your school boards. You need to start taking over your mayors, your city, fortify your city,
Right.
fortify your county, and then you can work your way up the state.
Yeah. That's a good thing you mentioned that. I don't know how familiar you are with the GRA, but I'm getting more and more familiar with them every day. But it's something I'm going to be making a video on. I've already got the recording. I just got to edit it together. But they are primarily focused on holding elected officials responsible
Right.
by how they vote and how conservative they are, and they have a list of like ethos that, if you're what you say you are, then you should be supporting it this way. You should be supporting it that way.
Right.
And that's that responsibility, is like getting behind a platform of a real clear platform about where we are at, what we support, and how we're not going to bend the knee. Because so much of this, like we're going to talk about in a minute about the Speaker of the House, it's all about compromise. It's all about tit for tat. What can I get out of this? How can we structure this? And the whole system is designed this way. And so you're getting anti-establishment politicians that are coming in and they're like tearing this wall down. They are raging against that machine, saying, you know what, we're not going to play ball.
Right. And the main point about that, if you pay attention to the 11th voting, okay,
right,
because I'm kind of laughing at this. The last time I think this took place was 100 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So the funny part of it is that you got 20 people that are up in Congress talking about no, okay, to Kevin McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the people that are saying no to Kevin and not getting him elected are the people who don't care about the money.
Right.
They don't care about the rules or regulations.
They're risking their entire political career.
Their entire career.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Now the ones that are saying yes to McCarthy are going, how much money can I make out of you if you become Speaker of the House?
Right. And I want to elaborate on that a little bit, because we've been talking a little bit about this with Marjorie Greene, of course. I do think that for the most part, what you're saying is correct, is true. All right. Now you got to think, and Marjorie Greene's always the highlight of this discussion. But the thing about it is that there's also 200 more people voting for, and some of these people are staunch conservative people that are not part of that establishment. So you have to ask yourself, I'll put it to you this way, because a lot of people are super mad that Marjorie is standing her ground. Now, what I'll say about this is, I don't give Marjorie any slack. I'm going to criticize her like I would anybody else.
Right.
But she's standing pretty hard on these principles. She did come out and give about a 23-point Twitter post about why she's doing what she's doing. I think she really believes that she's trying to move the party in the right direction by getting behind it. And she is a Trump loyalist, and Trump has already made these deals with McCarthy.
Yeah.
Right? That's how politics work. People say, but the politics are completely made on these deals. Now that does not make me support her decision or like it. If she were to walk in the door and tell her the same thing, I was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, see,
So
and that's the whole thing, you know, when you pull something like that, or you say something like that, or you tweet something like that, you really need to come out and you know, specifically say why
right.
you're doing it,
Mhm.
okay? Because that way, the people here in the 14th district can go, hey, you know, I might be able to follow
Right.
that. You know,
Sure.
and not everybody's going to agree. Okay, that's the only reason why we got the
Well,
government we got now. But
I
you know,
think what throws people off most of all is how outspoken and how attacked Marjorie has been.
mm-hmm,
And the fact that she's not one of those 20 or 21,
right,
it's like mind blowing. People can't take it, you know? And all I tell them, say, don't knee jerk on this. All right. Obviously, Marjorie has not done anything that has let me down yet. Now,
right.
is she could she be compromised in some sort of way, or does she really believe that making this deal would strengthen the Republicans? But the problem I have is the more I read about McCarthy, the more stories that come up, the investigations. I'm like, how can anybody support this guy? You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I
So
mean, you
it's
know,
interesting.
well, here's the thing. You know, it's kind of like Herschel Walker. Okay, a lot of people didn't agree with Herschel Walker. A lot of people did. A lot of people wanted to see him win. A lot of people didn't because of his past.
Right.
But here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. You could have gone ahead and put Herschel Walker up there. Um, he would have done his best for the people. Now, I'm not saying he's going to do everything correctly, but at the same time, you got to remember there's more elections coming.
Right.
So then you
Right.
could have chosen another candidate that would have been way more for the people and
Right.
take over Herschel's spot.
Right.
You could have stuck a Republican there, and we would have been all right.
It's true.
You know, so maybe Margie Taylor Greene, this is just my opinion.
Mhm,
Don't
mhm.
take this wrong.
Right.
Maybe she's thinking strategically just like
Right.
that. Look, let's go ahead and get a Republican up in
Right.
there. And then when we get more of the majority, then we can put who we want
Sure.
in there.
I mean, I can't help but to try to give her the benefit of the doubt on this.
Yeah.
I know people are mad, but we don't know all the inside baseball. We don't know everything that's going on there. Now, I'm having a blast with this. I am totally on the side of
Yeah.
these 20 people standing up because yes, stand up, say no to these people, you know, especially whenever they won't even give concessions that are just like, just a no-brainer about the border and even about term limits, any of
Yeah.
that stuff. And so I welcome it, but I'm really hoping that there's some sort of something we're not seeing here with Marjorie Greene. And I don't even want to focus on her. I know we do because it's the 14th.
Yeah, it's the 14th
Marjorie
district.
Greene
This is our
belongs to us.
backyard. Look, yeah, this is our backyard.
Marjorie
Yeah.
Greene works for
We
us.
we love
All
you,
right?
girl.
We-
Don't ever think that wrong.
We love you. We're the ones that got you in, but you also work for us, and we
Yeah.
just want to know what's going on. You know,
That's it.
I'm going to trust. I'm going to trust. Even the biggest political pundits or that, like, I listen to Tim Pool, which Marjorie's been on 2 or 3 times. InfoWars.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of giving her a pass on this because they all love her. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, we really like you. You're
Well,
the
see,
real
you
deal.
gotta look at what
You
she's
know?
done since she got there.
Exactly.
Okay, she has fought every step of the way.
Mhm.
She's lost her committee. She's
going
lost
through a
everything
divorce,
even before this
uh,
come up.
Yes, she's
So,
got personal things going on
you know.
in her life. She's been swatted. She's all of these
Yeah.
things. She's been kind of left out to dry. You know, I don't fault her if she's trying to make some sort of deals to be on committees or whatever. She says she's not, but it doesn't. That's not even the point. The point is, it's like I appreciate that she's going to do what she's going to do on principle. Now, until I see something otherwise, until I see that there's some sort of ulterior motive here, or that somebody has been compromised, you know, we're going to let it roll.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest with you, I hope I'm wrong, but I believe that in the end, McCarthy will end up being the speaker. And why do I say that? They can only go so far until they break McCarthy down.
Yeah.
Because I believe that Matt Gaetz and the 20 are going to continue
Yes.
to just pound this guy, you know, on the just take all the life out of him to where he's going to have to concede with what they want. Now, I don't even know if that means he'll do it or not.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't see an end to this at this point. I wish we had more, but it really shows you just where a lot of the Republicans stand.
Yeah, and it also shows you the infighting as well.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
you're talking that's on a federal level. Look
Mhm.
at the state all the way down to your local level. It's the
You
same
know,
way.
it's frustrating, but at the same time, the Democrats, they just go in lockstep. They ask no questions. They don't give two craps about it. Whatever they're being led to do, and somebody's finger pointing at them and saying, you just do this and you get in the line, they fall in line. The Republicans, man, they don't do that. We're independent. We're thinkers. We stand on our principles. And you know what? That's a good thing to have. These 20 people standing up. So I tell you what, it's a roller coaster for sure. So, but yeah, man, Marjorie, hey, don't worry. This is all going to wash out.
Yeah, Margie, you just keep doing what you're doing.
Yep.
As long as your policies are there and you keep
That's right.
you keep telling the truth and you keep rolling like you're doing,
That's
look,
right.
I'll pay you for it. Go ahead.
So tell us about, just give us a long haul right now. I don't want to go into this. Okay, let's just talk about voting for a minute, right?
Okay.
So you brought up Herschel Walker a little bit ago. I said from the beginning Herschel was never going to make it. I'm standing on the hill that our election process is completely broken in this state, and it has been. And there was no bill that saved it. There was nothing. And that being said, which we're going to walk that fine line here where we're at
again.
But we know that things are not right, and I'm saying it needs to be rebuilt from the ground up.
Yeah.
But what is it? Voter ID, legal citizen, paper ballot. Which is never going to really happen, especially.
No. Wait a minute. No, hold on. Because what is it? Fulton County. They took over their election board.
Well, they did,
and they walked in and said, "We're no longer using the machines. We're taking out the drop boxes and we're going to paper ballots."
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen,
that is
why
legal.
can't the rest of the district do that?
They can do this. It's up to each county in the state of Georgia. 152 counties. Every county and every election board can take the Dominion systems out if they want to. They can breach the contract. They can get rid of them, and it's up to the Capitol to take up the bill or whatever it is. They're the ones that sign the contract. But we have the power, but nobody's going to do that.
Well, it's maybe because they don't want to do that.
Maybe not. Well, that brings me to my point.
Speculation.
So after all this, all of a sudden, Brad Raffensperger is coming out with possible, committee hearings about ranked choice voting.
Oh,
and I'm like, ranked choice voting? Are you kidding me? So you told me over the last couple of years that you guys fixed the election, right? And then we went back through the same thing that we went through before, and now you're wanting to change it to a completely different system, ranked choice voting. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Hey, look, they want to stay in power as much as possible.
You're absolutely right.
I mean, the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at what's going on in Congress right now and compared to what happened in 2020 and plus 2022, you'll understand that the separation of powers in the Republican Party, they have already chosen their people, and people like me and Candace Taylor and a few others, they're going to give us a little something, make us look a little good because we just come out the woodwork. We're the ones that wanted to be left alone, but yet how does everybody else get reelected by massive numbers, and Herschel Walker has to do a runoff and lose?
So many questions.
So, but be sure to tune in and watch the Ruby Freeman show as well.
Oh yeah, that's.
I'm just saying,
Ruby Freeman. And you know what's so funny is that Ruby Freeman came back up, of course, last week, started trending. So I'm in my little circles, I'm talking, and I go back and I watch the Ruby Freeman videos, each one that shows the manipulation and the different things that she's doing. And I'm looking at the dates, and I'm even surprised myself. I'm like, this is 2020 when this was filmed. This is 2020 when this was put together. It's 2023 now, and I'm still looking at this like, how in the world has this not been investigated? Like, how in the world was this ever looked at as being a hoax? And it blows my mind.
Oh, I know.
It blows my mind.
It does me too. I don't
It just
understand
makes
it at all.
me even madder going back and watching that, because if it had been anybody else, if it had been a Republican that had done that, I mean, they would already be in prison.
Yeah.
And the system would be bucked at every level.
Well, then and then you get somebody like Gabriel Sterling coming out and going on and then tweet out talking about anybody who thinks that there were cheating going on in the state of Georgia. That's Iranian tactics. So what are you saying, Gabriel Sterling? You calling everybody in the state of Georgia that's doubting the voting system a terrorist, an Iranian terrorist? Well, what are you smoking, son?
Obviously, we're running out of conspiracy theories. 2023 is the year of the vindication of the tinfoil hats.
Yeah.
There's things we can't even talk about. We're already skating down a line of talking about the voting, but my God, I mean, it's worse than we thought, you know.
Well, and the surprise is that people come to me and say, "Mac, there's no cheating. There was no cheating. Get over it. You lost. There's no cheating." And I'm like, did you see what Ruby Friedman said?
Yeah. Well,
I
think the real meat and potatoes of this whole situation is the ballot harvesting. The ballot harvesting, how it's actually able to be legal to do ballot harvesting like it is, that in and of itself, it seems like a crime to me. And it took a few years for everybody to realize, because it was all nothing but conspiracy theory a few years ago. Well, that's false. There's no such thing. And then it morphs into, well, we do it, but it's legal. And then that goes back to the SB 201 bill.
Yeah.
Okay, well, where did y'all stop this in that bill? Because we just had it happen again. And there's so much craziness all around. We know that, but
and that's the fun part, because people when they looked at SB 202, which gotta have a voter ID. You had to have a vote. You had to have an ID to begin with anyway.
Right.
Okay, they're throwing you milk and cookies. All right,
you have to have an ID everywhere.
You have to have an ID anyway to vote. All right. So, and they were talking about more secure, less cheating, blah blah. Okay, so they admitted right there that there was cheating.
Of course. Well, it's not going to be a free and fair shake. We know that. And but that goes back to how much, like, let's go back to Gates and what's going on right now. They're taking a stand and saying, no, all the Republicans are these little gatekeepers. They're just fence sitters, and they're just holding that line from being completely kicked down. But we continue to compromise, and we lose ground every single time. When are we going to stand up? When are we going to stop compromising? That's why.
Well, we need more people like the 20 up in Congress. Yes, there's no doubt about that. I mean,
I totally agree.
You could have taken Michael Bogus. Let's talk about Bogus. I mean, that man, he ran after everybody, called everybody out. SOB did on national television. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the kind of people you need in Congress. Look, debate is over.
I'm very hopeful for our state senator, Colt Moore. That was a perfect example up here in the 14th district about how we fought against the system and won. The outgoing senator already had his man in place, and they had an establishment set up for him to just take over. And the people said, no, we want Colton Moore, and now we got him. And so far,
so let me run down the base on how y'all did that. Okay, so like when what was it, 2020 or a little after 2020, when the district came together for the district GOP and the state GOP and all that trash, the people here in the local area of the District 14, when they went to district for their GOP, they walked in, and I'm talking about people from work, people from the hills, people, bikers. They came in plain clothes and looked at everybody on that board and said, "You're done." Done. That's the reason why the 14th district got taken over like it did. And that's the reason why we've got people where they're at now. And that's how Marjorie Taylor Greene got elected. Okay.
Oh, yeah. She was fiercely opposed. They already had, was it John Cowan? I found one of his signs in the back room the other day where we went to the very first rally, and they were bringing, "You want a sign? Sure. Who are you? Give me a sign."
But that's how that's how you get Colt Moores. Right. That's how you get Mack McGregors. That's how you get Michael Boguses. That's how you get.
Sure.
Okay, you got to start taking over your local areas.
I agree. we've got a lot of good people taking over the GOPs. I'm glad to see it. So what do you see going on in Georgia? What's the big ticket for Georgia 2023?
Man,
Because I've been told to watch out for the ranked choice voting. It's going to come up this year.
that's definitely going to come up because first of all, you got to remember on open television, Burt Jones flat out said that they had given Brad Raffensperger entirely too much power. Okay, so you have to remember that your legislators on the Republican side did this.
Mhm.
Okay, not only does it go against your state constitution, but it goes against the U.S. Constitution as well. So they've broken both. You really need to start fortifying your local areas because people need to understand you don't have to ask for permission.
Right.
You can do what's right, fix the problem. Once you fix your local area, then you ask another local area that's trying to do the same thing. Kind of like the 2A movement when y'all got the proclamation.
Right.
Y'all went from county to county. Right. So why can't you do that with your election?
That's true.
Okay. So fire it up, start the fire. Right? I'm right there with you.
We do have some people. I'm not going to spoil it, but we've got some people coming up that want to talk about certain aspects of our school system here in the county. So there's been a lot of talk about some different things and funding and stuff, and I'm glad to share it. So you're right. We need to be taking a bigger, much more active look at our education system, because even our education system, for the most part in this area, has remained sort of untouched, right? From what we see in the news.
Right. And you got to thank the local people for
Sure.
that. You have to thank the teachers that we've got right now because they understand the morals and
Right.
base values. Okay. Like you said, during the COVID time, our schools wasn't hit that hard. They
Right.
actually worked around it, came up with an option. Like my granddaughter, she'd go 1 week, 3 days a week.
Right.
The following week, she might go 2, and then vice versa.
Exactly.
They worked through it. They didn't just cut it out.
You're absolutely right. They didn't just cut it out. And so we have good people here, but we're also a target because that we're a target for like the left and to try to come up here and change this culture.
No, they already tried.
They're already.
Yeah, they already
spread
tried
out
when they redistricted Marjorie
Right.
Taylor Greene and tried to get her kicked out.
That is correct. And
So
a lot of people might not remember that. I didn't even think about that, but you're absolutely right.
Yes.
You think about what they've done to that woman.
I'm going to tell you right now, 14th district is a prime target for the state of Georgia. Republicans and Democrats. Okay.
Right.
When Marjorie Taylor Greene says establishment, she means establishment.
Right.
All right. You're talking about a Kemp. You're talking about Burt Jones. You're talking about Brad Raffensperger, Gabriel Sterling, and all of them. Okay.
The same thing with
good old boys.
Good old boy system. So I'm going to go ahead and go through some comments real quick because we're at least halfway through, and appreciate everybody that's hanging with us. So it's Pat Casey loud and clear here. Thank you, Pat. I was very worried about that. Man, just my stupidity and the problems I have on my end. I'm surprised that I even know how to turn on a computer. Jackie Harling, it's great to see you, Jackie. I wasn't aware that was the case. Ranked choice is such BS. Yes, Jackie. And our GOPs need to be aware of this. If a lot of people aren't.
And our Republican people up in the state house right now know about this, and believe it or not, they're on board with it.
The Republicans are the one pushing this, as far as I know. Brad Raffensperger's office is the one that's pushing it. Now, I am not an expert on ranked choice voting. All I know is what I've seen. All right. And I plan on having a much more in-depth discussion with people who are smarter than me about ranked choice voting. All right. My problem is why after this gets done and this gets done and this gets done, all of a sudden we have to change this whole election process when we know that we can back up and fix it at a certain point, So that's my problem. I'm not against changing anything. What I'm against is this abrupt turn of events. Now, and I also know that that's not the only thing that they're discussing, but we just need to be aware of it.
Right.
We need to be aware of it. I do research on these things, and the more that I see about ranked choice voting, the less that I like it, right? So I need to be convinced that it could be a good thing. So okay, let's see, Jackie, because the inmates are in charge of the prison. You're
right about that one.
Go on to that one. Elliot Pierce. What the people think it's happening in public schools. It's radically different than the reality, even locally. The leftist influence is staggering. Thank you for that comment, Elliot. I don't know Elliot personally, but I read just about everything that the man puts out. Very smart individual, and I don't necessarily agree with every aspect, but I'm thankful we have people like this in our communities that are actually out there, being active. Because if you haven't checked out Elliot Pierce, it's definitely worth checking out. He has a blog. Have you read any of Elliot's stuff?
I've come across him a few
I
times.
tell you, some of the stuff, like I said, that's what I love about it. I don't like to agree with anybody 100%, but Elliot has got some really good articles about the school system. And I'll be honest, I hate to say this live on air, but I plan on getting Elliot in here. So I don't know if you're still watching, Elliot, but I plan on having a conversation with you, so maybe we could sit down and talk, because all I want to do is learn and share information. But I believe you're absolutely correct. In fact, just to talk a little bit about the way that some of the schools get the funding for, what they do is they create these programs, and they say, if you will implement these in your schools, we're going to give you some money. And I can't think of the word, but there's a program right now that Walker County is either going to implement or have already implemented, but it's some kind of like 7 steps of mental health. And it's got all kinds of weird aspects about bullying and about socioeconomic issues and all.
Yeah.
It could be a lot of red flags. I mean, it doesn't sound like reading, writing, arithmetic that's going on.
But now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, and I'm not saying it's a good thing.
Right.
Okay, because we all know that bullying is bullshit. So,
of course.
But at the same time, if there's a paper out there, I'd like to get my hands on it and read it.
Sure.
And go through it and figure out the red flags. You know what I'm saying? Because once you let something like that in, who's to say that the red flag laws won't follow behind and all this other trash won't follow behind?
Well,
so,
on top of that, and I'll tell you, at places I've worked and things like, if you've not heard of Chat GPT yet, which everybody's going to hear about this, this is artificial intelligence. This is the way that the future is moving. These AI bots, this artificial intelligence that have the capability of writing stories and essays and painting pictures, and they're talking about that this kind of technology can replace, teachers. And I'm going to tell you, I messed with Chat GPT over the last couple of days, and it's staggering what this artificial intelligence is capable. And this is just the free version that you can get your hands on.
Yeah.
But just to give you an example, and I'm planning on covering this later in another episode, but you can literally tell this AI bot, tell me a story about Mac going to Walmart and knocking down a clothes rack. And this, as soon as you type this in and tell it, it just starts making a story up within seconds. And it'll just come up with a 3-page story about how you went to Walmart and you stumbled across. It's insane. I asked it what the square root of 56,708 was. Not only did it give me the square root in about a half a second, but it gave me the 9-step mathematical directions to find that.
Right.
So, this is the future, like it or not, what we're talking about here. We live up here in the old mountains, but the future is what I'm talking about. This artificial intelligence, transhumanism, and where are they going to get it first? What are they attacking the most in our communities? Our children, right?
Right.
They know that they can't get me or Mac or other people to partake in a lot of this stuff, but they can implement this incrementally through these social programs. And where's water flow? The easiest path.
Right up in the schools.
The schools. So I'm telling y'all, I really want to spend the better part of this winter really diving into some school issues.
Yeah, I'd really like to see that proposal for the city, for the Walker County schools. I want to see that.
I can't remember what it's called, but I believe that Mr. Pierce had an entire article on it.
Yeah.
It was very interesting. but I know it involves, it's a lot of social economic issues.
Yeah.
And then you put that in with how all of a sudden all over the news media, all over the television, all over wherever you're watching, they're talking about the anxiety. All the kids have the anxiety. Is it something that they're sort of manufacturing? We already know our children are.
Yeah, but did they? Yeah, but see, here's the thing. Okay, so let's do it like this.
Okay.
So you have a disease, and you supposedly have the cure. You make the cure before you create the disease.
Way before.
So now you have this coming out.
Right.
COVID was starting.
Mm-hmm.
How many kids got anxiety, and now you got the cure for it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Think about the anxiety of our children going through that. You know. Think about the implications and the subconscious implications of the mask
because
itself,
literally, and that's what I was telling my wife. I said, let's think about this. 30 years ago, you could go outside, run 4 or 5 blocks down the road. Nobody would try to steal you, kill you, rape you, or any of that trash. Now you kids can't even barely go outside in the front yard without this happening.
Well, yeah.
So now when COVID hit, they're literally stuck in the house or stuck in their room because their parents don't want to deal with them.
Stuck on TikTok.
Yeah.
On all of these.
And there you go, the brain program.
They're designed specifically to break your mind down. They're designed specifically to break your imagination down. They're designed specifically to make you pay attention less. And we could go on and on about that. In a lot of ways, I'm just as bad, right? I try to use these things for, research and knowledge and, but man, I'm telling you, our kids, they don't have a chance, brother. I mean, I think my generation was the last one to know what it's like to grow up without a computer, without a cell phone, right? But our kids think that Google was here before Jesus. They don't know a world without it.
You know how
that's a scary,
let me
scary
tell you, see, and that's the thing. When I tell my granddaughter, I'm older than the internet.
I shadow.
Yeah.
They don't.
At me and
I
like,
mean,
what?
that we could go on about this all day. But
Yeah.
I'm telling. And here's the thing. I know Mac knows. We know. We've talked about this, but some people they may not be interested in this sort of stuff. But we're telling you now that you've got to get out and get in front of this stuff because it's coming.
Yeah, it's time to play chess, not checkers, brother.
We talk about ESG score. It's not a conspiracy theory. And when we talk about a digital currency, it's not a conspiracy theory. Their whole objective is to get us completely dependent on their system where we can't falter outside of that system. And it's coming. You just have to be ready for it. But they're getting our children. So expect to see more. We're going to do a lot more on the school system, especially.
Yes.
So Mac, what do you think? What's things looking like for 2024?
Me and the team, we got to talking about that, and 2024, we're going to fire up. Matter of fact, we already fired up. That's the whole ordeal. Because I think the first run I did was nothing but a test run to put the feelers out there. When you got 145,000 people backing you, just imagine what's going to happen when you got the stuff to do it with this time.
I'm telling you, it was impressive.
So if I can do it, that means everybody that's watching or listening can do it as well.
Right.
And it don't have to be on a state level. It don't have to be on a federal level.
Yeah.
But 26 rolling around, look forward to it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the good old boy system has been to get a kick in the butt, just real bad. Because the team that I've got and another team that's going to be coming in, I think y'all are going to be really surprised because my campaign manager be looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to say the Freudian slip, the 2024. I meant 2026. But I'll tell you something right now. And as I'm sitting here, and Mac knows that I would hold Mac accountable as I would expect.
Oh, yeah, and I expect you to, man. Look, you know where I live, okay? So.
Yeah, but I'll tell you something. And this ain't even I'm not even advocating for this man standing here right next to me, sitting here. But let me tell you, he's got 4 years for you to prove him wrong, to seek him out, to figure this man out. As long as I've known him in this game, he's been the same guy. He's not perfect. He makes mistakes like everybody else. We're all human. But let me tell you something. I don't see this man bowing to anybody. I don't see him taking us in any direction that wouldn't be positive. All right. That's all I'm saying. And you know what?
And the best part, not to toot my own horn, but the best part is that I don't have no allegations on me.
There you go.
There's nothing to be found. No scandals. No misconception of money. No, look, I pay my taxes. I go to work every day, do my 40.
They ain't got nothing on you.
And that's the reason why they hated me so much this first go around, because they could not find nothing on me.
Sure.
When you watch believe it or not, when you watch the lieutenant governor debate, they attacked each other. I was standing there like, oh, y'all got nothing on me, so I'm just gonna stand here and listen to the clown show.
Sure. I mean, just think about that for a minute. I mean, we got a long way to go. 2026. I mean, good Lord, and we'll get into some of the world stuff in a minute. But, hey, I'm just telling y'all, man. Think about it. Think about it. He's got a long way to go, and he's got 4 years to keep going, and he ain't even have nothing to slip up on the last 3 years. So just think about that going forward. That's the kind of people we need. So if it's not already evident. So I know it's getting about, I try to keep it around an hour, but Shasta said, hey, Roy and Mac. Hey, Shasta, it's good to see y'all. I appreciate everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just give me a little bit of your thoughts on, let's go world events right now.
Okay.
A lot of things going on in Russia, Ukraine, Iran, Israel, Taiwan, China, Poland, Belarus, and every day. And I purposely refrain from talking about this online so much because, I've got my tinfoil and my doom and gloom and this and that, but certain things, certain places. But I mean, Mac, is there what on earth is going to happen to this world in the next few months, Mac? I mean, what do you think? I mean, are we just going to get nuked out of existence? And
it's either that or a virus. Which one do you want? It's it's
a no-win situation right there. I mean, things are getting crazy, so crazy around the world, and yet the media is just silent,
Oh, and they're going to do. You know this because of all the corruption and cover-ups and dealings that Biden and all of them are doing with Ukraine and all that trash, and Iran and China. I mean, come on, really. We even had China here in our own state. Okay,
we sure did. They had. You want to talk about conspiracy?
I'm just saying.
They had police officers, law enforcement. The Chinese had law enforcement agencies set up in New York and Washington, everywhere, looking for their own defectors.
Yep.
And they had complete buildings with their own police in it that were going through and finding people and snatching them off the streets. That's not a joke.
Yeah. But to me, the world events, let me I'm going to say let them hash it out.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say let Russia do what it's going to do, let Ukraine do it. But we as Americans shouldn't be backing up anybody. Okay, especially Ukraine. I'm sorry, that's how it is. Okay, we've wasted enough time, resources. We're suffering here. Okay, so it's time to back off of that. I mean, it's like the bill that they passed. It was what, 1.7 trillion?
$7 trillion. Actually, I think it's like 1.84 trillion now. They've added.
I don't know. They done spent so many trillions of dollars on these bills. I can't never keep up with which one. But the thing is, we need to quit. We need to stop that.
Right.
We got too much going on here.
Yeah. That was one of the concessions that Matt Gaetz wanted, was a balanced budget by spring.
So, you got to
said no.
If you want a balanced budget, then you need to take away the checkbook.
There you go.
I mean, that's all.
Well, you know what the balanced budget would mean, right? If they actually balanced the budget, it would mean they would have to make so many cuts to these frivolous institutions.
Yeah.
And the alphabet,
the soup.
Yes, the soup people, and they don't want that. They don't want that.
No. But now you coming out and finding out the FBI, CIA, blah,
Oh
blah,
yeah,
blah,
we
blah,
didn't even
blah.
talk about the Twitter
You know,
files.
yeah, you know, and well, I've been watching Lucretia on that because she keeps up with that,
Yeah,
you know,
Lucretia's
really,
awesome.
really, really well.
Mhm.
And I mean, come on, really, ladies and gentlemen, the stuff that you said didn't happen, didn't think happened, and there it is.
Smoking gun.
Okay, so yeah, you know, you go, well, I'm only one person. What can I do about it? Start in your local area.
Yeah, you have to, especially
that's all you can do.
if you go through them Twitter files. Man, I get so mad. So I can't
No,
even
now
watch
I don't get
anymore when I'm
mad.
driving. I do.
No. Let me tell you why I don't get mad. Because all the trash that I talked on the campaign trail,
Yeah.
hey, there it is.
There it is.
It's true.
The vindication.
It's true.
The
It's true.
vindication.
And now people are coming to me, Mac. Oh my God, you wasn't lying.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I wished I would have voted for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I tried to tell you.
Right. And people, it goes back to what we say. You know, a lot of people can't handle these kinds of truths. And I listen to a YouTube channel, and I always like to plug them. It's called True Stream Media, but I just wish more and more people would watch their material. They have some of the best documentary videos I've ever seen. All right, and it's not like they're not Republican, Democrat. These people are Truth Stream Media. And so I watch as a husband and wife duo, and they do their own stuff. And she had said that somebody had made a comment the other day. She had said, "Wow, things are getting a lot worse." And the person said, "No, things aren't getting worse. You're just able to see how bad they've always been." And it's like,
yeah,
that was an epiphany to me. It was an epiphany to the point where it was like, just a little bit of context on that, on the wording. And it's like, you know what, you're right. Like, these things are not new. This is how this is the foundation that these politics are built on. And it may be like a natural evolution of humans, because power corrupts, absolutely, right? So I said this a couple of live streams ago. People were coming up to me and saying, well, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We need to band together, and we need to go up. I said, okay, I'm all for it, man. Let's do it. Let's do what we know that needs to be done. Does that mean you're going to quit your job? You're going to give up your house, your wife, your kids. You're going to go up there and do what needs to be done. And even hypothetically speaking, if you did what needs to be done, would you be able to take the power and give it back from what you just wielded by doing what needed to be done? Right?
Yeah.
So you got to think about it like that. It doesn't mean that I'm going to stop or you're going to stop.
Right.
Or we're not those outcomes. No. We always have to fight, but you're not going to get people to get into all this stuff like this and to really see those truths. They got too many the complicated things in their life. They don't want to hear it.
Right. And that's one of the reasons for the unity rally. I mean, so that way we can bring everybody together. Look, the people that are going to be speaking, not only are they going to be speaking about today's current events across the United States or just in our state alone, it's affecting everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's communication, and it's people who can coordinate together and figure out a plan. Okay. We'll give you the plan. We'll give you the blueprint on how to get this started and light the fire, not only in the state of Georgia, but across the United States.
Awesome.
Once this fire gets started, I promise you, the elite will not be able to stop it if everybody starts jumping on board.
He's right, and a lot of the good pundits say if we weren't winning in some capacity, they wouldn't be fighting this hard.
Right.
So, Jonathan, is Putin the bad guy? Well, I don't know. I think maybe America needs to look in the mirror.
Okay, so, the Putin the bad guy thing, I see it like this. He's trying to protect his own. That's as far as I'm going to go with that. And, a leader protects his own people at any cost. Back in the day, you got to remember that literally Russia had a part of the Ukraine back in the day. Mm-hmm. Then America came in and took it away from Russia. So, it's one of them.
Well,
look, we got a weak president. Let me go ahead and get my land back.
Mm-hmm. And think about the coup of 2014 or 2012 when we went into Ukraine and completely changed the regime.
Well, it's kind of like Iraq and Iran.
Yeah, that's exactly the point.
Yeah,
I'm wondering now if we're not taking a hard look at our own country and going, are we Is America the evil empire? I mean, when you go back into history, and I'm not talking about us, I'm not talking about the people that we're living and working.
Right.
I'm talking about our government. Or is our government the one that's been the evil empire all along? When you go back and you look at
Well,
Iran
this
and
is something I can
Afghanistan,
tell you for a fact. I've got to look when kind of like Lucretia, you got to look, you have to have the receipts before you put something out there.
Okay.
And you can ask any military vet out there, you can ask anybody in the military today. Our government literally put people into power to turn around and take them out of power.
Yeah.
Overseas.
Yeah.
Saddam Hussein, all of them. We literally put them people into power. And then we turned around and took them out.
Exactly.
Okay, there's proof out there. All you got to do is do your research.
Yeah. There you go. What did this war, well, we all know about the NATO. We all know about the borders of Russia and what they were wanting to do in Ukraine. And we all know that's the equivalent of saying that, like, the Civil War was just about slavery. You know, it wasn't.
Right.
Ukraine and Russia is not just about NATO and setting up these military bases, but that was the big catalyst here to push us forward. There's so many things we could talk about, but you know, I'm not a Putin sympathizer, and I'm not for him. I'm not against him. Neither am I for or against Ukraine. I think it is their war, and that we need to be worried about the American border. How can we be fighting a war and sending billions and billions of dollars across the seas to another country when our entire border, our southern border, is completely open and we've got no idea? I mean, you know, this is just normal. This is just the regular talking points. I'm saying, you know, that's a loaded question, Jonathan. We can get into a lot of that,
but see, to me,
I know exactly what he means.
Well, but the thing is that you can't pay attention to Putin. You can't pay attention to Ukraine. You can't pay attention to anybody across the seas. Let them fight it out. It ain't our problem. It's their war. Let them have that. All right. On top of that, you need to be paying more attention to your state and the United States. Quit. You know, if you got ADHD or any of that stuff, you know how the little sparklies get your attention and you're off over here playing with the sparklies instead of doing what you're supposed to do. Ladies and gentlemen, quit playing with the sparklies. Okay.
It's true. You know, I think the bad guy is the World Economic Forum. I think Klaus Schwab is a bad guy. I think George Soros is a bad guy. I think that transhumanism is ultimately very evil. And it's not the Cyberpunk 2077 where you get a brand new arm. No, it's far worse. And I'm still sticking with Elon Musk could be the Antichrist. Okay, I'm not ruling that out yet. I am not ruling that out yet. But anything else you want to talk about, Matt? We're on over an hour. We can stay as long as you want. So,
well, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, February the 18th at 11 a.m. 4780 Center Church Hill Road, Loganville, Georgia. I got to look at my wife when I say this. That way I know she's like, yeah, you're right. Unity rally. Look, all walks of life. We don't care who you are, what you're about. This is about getting together, coming up with a plan, and implementing that plan. We want to implement this in local areas to begin with. Okay, so the Unity rally is looking at, if this one goes really well, then we're going to start a tour date here in the state of Georgia, and we're going to tour all over the state of Georgia. And we're going to let these corrupt people know that we're finally coming together, no matter our differences, and we're going to kick you out of your spots and make things right again. It's time to do that.
Yeah.
Because if not, the future of your children and your grandchildren are going to be nil and void soon. So let's do this. Let's get it done.
None of us are enemies here. We may not all see eye to eye, but ultimately we believe in conservatism. We believe in God. We believe in the Constitution of this United States of America. And it's worth fighting for. So I'm in agreement. If you can, we'll make it out. We're talking with some people. There's a few of us that's trying to get together and get something positive going on in this area for the community. So.
And I'll be right here with y'all, brother.
Yeah, there's a lot of people I want to meet. There's a lot of people that I want to interview and bring back on the show. As always, if you got something to say, let me know. I'm lining some people up now. And man, I appreciate the comments. Jackie, let's see, we'll finish them out. Good to see you both. The GRA did that at our convention, and I didn't like it at all. Love the GRA though. Yeah, I'm really interested in the GRA. They put on a really good presentation last night, and I did film it, and I got the okay to make a video. And so hopefully I'll have that out maybe by this weekend. But you know, it just takes people continuing to stand up and continuing to group together like we're doing, and that's all. No ulterior motives here, folks. I'm just a concerned citizen who just wants to talk.
Yeah, me too. I'm nobody. Okay, so
But listen, we appreciate everybody hanging out. And Mac, thank you so much for coming back on.
Man. I love being here, man. Anytime.
Yeah. But we're looking for things, and we'll post things as they come. Just support Mac, support Small Town Underground, support Tyler and Ray, Blankenship, Jennifer Tudor, all these good people that are out here. Candace Taylor, you know, she's still out there. The list goes on and on.
So I can tell you this.
Okay.
You know what just happened, right?
Wait,
Ladies and gentlemen, you do understand that the 14th district is about to invade the middle of Georgia.
Yeah.
Okay, we're taking it to Loganville. So come hang out.
Yes. And one final note, all I ask for is prayers for Marjorie Green.
Yeah.
Because even though we may not understand it, just whatever happens, let it be known.
Yeah, let's wait it out. Let's see what happens.
That's right. She's not.
Don't jump to conclusions.
Don't knee jerk. We're gonna get through this speaker thing. So we'll see everybody later. Bye bye.
Yeah, we good.